How's your knee?
No knee, no ankle pain.
Good. When you first came in, you had the ankle and knee pain, right?
Yes. I had the shoulder, knee pain, and then like around week 4, so I had ankle pain. So yeah, it is improving. That's for sure.
And how was the distance between the 20-step test?
At least 3 meters.
Or 3 meters.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, today's our last session, so it's really good to have you. So let's talk about, let's talk about your experience a little bit. I want to get some feedback from you in terms of what you thought about the training before when you started, what your experience was, and what you have learned and things like this.
Okay. So I think I mentioned you, or no, not I mentioned you, but I found you basically over Kadur Ziani. You had some videos with him.
Yes.
And I knew of him because I had done the ATG training and unfortunately developed knee problems while doing the program.
Okay.
So yeah, also it made a lot of sense because it was like this holistic approach. It like cuts out variables and it seems less complicated. So I thought, yeah, it's probably closer to the truth in the athletic training sense. And yeah, I mean, it's the training is definitely different from regular muscle-based training in that sense that usually those muscle workouts don't really fatigue you or make you super out of your breath.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely the fascia training, once it becomes more dynamic and you're doing the single leg hops or maybe the mountain climber, it definitely stresses your system in a different way. It's more of an athletic way. Definitely the adhesions have gone down significantly. Like in the beginning, I couldn't roll my calf for long because like every spot felt like a 9 if I concentrated on it.
Right.
And now it's like I also feel like the tissues in my leg have somewhat become more elastic. Probably it is that way, but it's interesting that you can physically feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I roll it, I can tell that I have to concentrate because the ball will like snap out from under my leg because my leg itself is somewhat elastic, the tissue. And yeah, I mean the adhesions have gone down. Like in the calves, I'd say I almost have no adhesions anymore.
Right.
And in the quads, it's like, yeah, I mean, to me the quads themselves don't have any adhesions anymore either. It's like the parts between the muscles and the bone and the whatever there is, where I would say I have some adhesions left. But yeah, I've observed adhesions going down where I for weeks thought they would never disappear, and then all of a sudden they were gone.
Right.
And it's like it's not it is probably gradual, but it's like on the other hand it's so fast that you sometimes do not really notice is gradually decreasing. So
Right.
for me, it often was like for weeks I would have a 7, 10, 1 to 10, 7 adhesion in the calf, and then from basically one session to the other, that was like it was like a 3, and then it was gone. So
Yeah.
when it happens quickly. So
Right. But
yeah,
it's the milestone, like week 5, week 8, and week 12. These milestone. Like now we hit the week 12, boom, everything is way less.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, also like the for me, obviously the single leg hop is like the most indicative of these sort of exponential developments,
Right.
because I think when we started, I did like a minute 10, and that felt like it was the ceiling.
Right.
And then I accidentally did 2 minutes, and we then found out I could do 2 minutes and a half. And today I did 4 minutes. So
Right.
it, it
And
feels like, I don't know if that's like always the case, but it feels like the changes are exponentially. Like
right.
it can you can become somewhat impatient, and then all of a sudden it like changes quicker than you would anticipate.
Right.
So
And
yeah.
your friend can only do what? Not even a minute.
No, like maximum 45 seconds.
Ah, okay. And you're doing 4 minutes. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm completely convinced that this is the right way of training. And yeah, it's like in a way it's interesting because probably you could argue if people weren't such comfort seekers and having wearing the shoe and everything from an early age, probably they wouldn't run into the problems they run into, and this training would only enhance performance then, and not be needed to cure any like dysfunctionalities basically in the
Right.
body. So yeah, it's really interesting, and I definitely keep um, improving as much as I can. I also feel like probably like the ATG stuff sort of targets like tendons and muscles, and I feel like probably my tendons and muscles are fine, but my fascia web was like entangled or something.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean that's what we've seen because you had a lot of fascial adhesions.
yeah,
Okay, very good. I'm very happy to have you. And we found out that you have a lot of potential. So
yeah.
that's something.
I have to say. Yeah, that's something I have to say. I had a lot of coaches, and a lot of them sort of at one point told me I had a lot of potential, but my performance would fluctuate so much that they would then sort of take a step back and be like, "Oh, maybe I uh, I made a mistake by telling you you had potential and whatnot." And you were basically like the first one to tell me that with a sort of scientific certainty to it. So I'm very thankful for that. Um, and I will keep building on it. So yeah,
Ah, yes. Because I think a lot of people they look at you once and then they have their way of evaluating what potential is, right? But we
yeah,
have a very strict set of things that we look for.
yeah.
And
Yeah, to them it's like only performance based, but
right,
obviously with this stuff you can clearly see that if you don't have like good control over activating and not activating it, the performance will be night and day. So
Yes.
They probably saw me doing something with Hyperarch on and I didn't know. And then the next day I didn't have it on, and for a long time I didn't have it on again, and they thought they saw something uh, they didn't really see. So that's basically the difference, the consistency.
Right. Well, now we can work on consistency because we know what it is.
Yeah, that's true.